Evening, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday night presentation. It's so nice to actually see some new faces on the presentation this evening. And I think a lot of people have been on the doctor's presentation, which is why this one is, got less people on tonight, but that's all good. We are, I say the normal people. We're not normal. We're not the doctors. We're not prescribing. We're just patching. So for those who don't know me, I'm Merle. I'm a Senior Presidential Director in LifeWave. I joined LifeWave in December 2022, and I was never going to tell anybody about it. I was just going to use these amazing little stickers or patches. And I had a result in my first week. And so I told a friend who had a shoulder issue, just like I had, and she was a one-patch wonder. I wasn't. I'd had a result in a week. And I have to tell you that 2 years later, my shoulder's completely healed. But my first result was nice, but it took a lot longer for me to get the result that I've now had. In fact, in December last year, I had some aches and pains again. I had some more chiro, patched some more, and now I can say that my shoulder is completely different to what it was when I started patching, and I'd injured it in 2012. So everybody's journey is different, and yes, some people have are what we call one-patch wonders. They have results straight away, but a lot of people patching for longer is where the magic is, and Alex is going to tell you about that, because Alex is one of those people who took a lot longer to have a result, although she did start looking younger far quicker than she got the result that she was patching for, but she'll tell you that story. So I'm going to hand over to Alex, and she will introduce herself, and she'll do the product side of the presentation, and then I am going to do the business side of the presentation. So over to you, Alex.
Okay, thanks. Hi, everybody. My name's Alex, and I'm a nurse by formal training. When I first heard about it, it took Merle 8 months to get me to look at LifeWave, and then only because a very good friend of mine's brother got dementia is why I looked. Otherwise, I never would have. Because I don't enjoy MLMs. And so that for me was off-putting enough to not actually get involved. Anyway, because I did the deep dive into the product, which I needed to look at clinically and all that kind of thing for me, which, by the way, you don't really need to do. Believe me, the clinical stuff is there. I established that the product does what it says it will do. And the company is well established, 20 years old. All the things that I needed to look at before I got involved came up with a huge tick. So that's my history. I started patching because I had a thing which is an inflammatory illness called polymyalgia. It's an autoimmune disease, and I'd had it for 20 years, which was managed with anti-inflammatories. Cortisone, I used to buy 1,000 tablets at a time. Lyrica, all sorts of things in order to manage my pain and keep leading a normal life, which was running a business, looking after 3 children, a husband, just normal life, cycling, running, walking. So I started to patch, understanding what stem cells did. And at times in that patching, I was exhausted. At times in that patching, I was really sore. And at times in that patching, I felt totally fabulous. And it was unpredictable. And I woke up 10 months later pain-free. And that has absolutely changed my entire life. So I think my message here in terms of patching is that if I had stopped at 6 or 7 or 8 months, I wouldn't be here telling you what I'm telling you now. And my life is forever different, simply because I persevered. There was a lot to repair. I did along the way get a whole lot of bits and pieces that I didn't sign up for. But that was that my hair came back, which had largely fallen out. My skin, I lost all the fine lines, and I've even got to the stage where my eyelids have lifted so that my eyelashes don't make these little black dots across my eyes when I put mascara on. So, and that's all just been, I've probably been on patches now about 18 months. So, and the mental clarity. So that's essentially my story. So let's start the product.
Perfect. I'm just going to share. Give me one more second.
Okay, so at this point, we always ask, have you been patched yet? And many of us on this call have. Maybe some haven't, but patches are designed to elevate, activate, and regenerate. David Schmidt, our CEO and inventor of X39, has over 180 patents now. He's a scientist and an inventor, not a medical doctor, and he's specializing in age reversing. In 2008, David focused his attention on stem cell research, which, by the way, at the moment in the world is estimated to be about 2.6 billion, because if the pharmaceutical industry can find a way to deliver stem cells, it will be the next gold mine. And this recent patent of his took 10 years and 4.5 million to bring to market. Patented technology. Everybody knows what a patent is. A patent, you need to show new information in order to be awarded the patent, and the patent lasts 20 years. For those of us involved with X39, it means we have a unique product that nobody else has, and that we still have 15 years left on that patent. So in this patent, it says, the result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, improved wound healing. All those claims are embedded in the patent. They have been proven. Why stem cell X39 stem cell activation patch? The fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. We all have either experienced that in ourselves or watching people around us. Hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging worldwide. At age 30, only half your stem cells are active. So guys, if you thought you were middle-aged at 40 or 50, you're actually middle-aged at 30. At age 60, you lose almost all your stem cell activity. How X39 works, it's a proprietary form of phototherapy, and phototherapy is just light therapy, which has been around for thousands of years. People will remember using infrared lamps in hospital or putting their children under lights in hospital. That's all phototherapy. Lasers are phototherapy. It's modulated light. So patented nanocrystal technology is how the patches are made. It's a lattice work of tiny, tiny atomic-sized crystals, which are sugar, salt, oxygen, water, and proprietary amino acids, which here happen to be cysteine, lysine, and histidine. The patch refracts light to activate. So our bodies emit infrared light. And that infrared light, all living things do, plants, animals, all living things reflect light. They absorb light and reflect light. And the reflected light activates the patch once you've placed it close to your body. And that stimulates a frequency. So a message that then goes into your body. So much like vitamin D stimulates our body so that we manufacture. The sun stimulates our body so that we manufacture vitamin D. The sun does not give us vitamin D. It interacts with our body so that our body gets a message that enables it to manufacture vitamin D, and patches work on a very, very similar principle. So there's nothing transdermal, no drugs, chemicals, or stimulants, and non-invasive. And the so what about that means that it's safe and easy to use for everybody, almost. Benefits of X39. I always say that this looks like a shopping list for having a fabulous life. So increased strength, reduced inflammation. These are all things, if you look at it, that we lose as we age. Increased stamina, energy and vitality, mental clarity, very significant for a lot of people and very quickly. Restored muscle or skeletal conditions, improvement in sleep. If you don't sleep, life goes to hell in a handbasket real fast. And improvement in skin appearance. So achieving optimal health in a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. People who haven't slept are grumpy, and that makes life not pleasant for everybody around them. This is just a topographical map of photographs of a 77-year-old woman's brain. This, by the way, guys, is also technology. Years ago, we would not have been able to get a photograph of somebody's brain. Session 1, without any X39, inflammation in the brain. You can see all the red and orange bits, quite severe, lack of brain coherence. After 3 weeks on X39, which is in session 2, no more brain inflammation and improved brain coherence. And after 6 weeks, you can see complete turnaround and better brain coherence. So you can see the effect is cumulative. It gets better. X39 long-term results per case studies. Any claim that is made from this slide has been clinically proven. So within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. If you understand anything about genes, that is quite extraordinary. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. You've just seen photographs of that. Within 3, and by the way, that applies to things like dementia, autism, anxiety, depression. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. And while collagen does do wonderful things for hair, skin, nails, things like that, collagen is an active part of your entire body. Part of the reason why we age is because we lose our collagen. Collagen is everywhere. So it is in your blood vessels, in all your organs, it's in your lungs, it's absolutely everywhere. It's in your joints, it's everywhere. And as we start to lose collagen, so we start to get creaky and things start to not work so much. So within 3 months, your collagen is increased, and consequently the condition of all the things that collagen impacts start to get better. And within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. So as David Schmidt says, it's not anti-aging, it's actually age reversing. How to wear your patch. You wear your patch for 12 hours on and 12 hours off to repair and rejuvenate. Then you throw the patch away or give it to your husband or your wife or your cat or your dog or your plant, because there will be some activity still left in the patch, but insufficient for you to be able to use that patch again. Why do we only keep the patch on for 12 hours? So that we prevent a thing called attenuation. If you overstimulate the body with a certain message or stimulus, eventually it becomes immune to that. So we have to give the body time to rest in between. The following day, you put on a new patch and you just repeat the process. You can wear more than one patch at a time, not more than one X39, but we have 10 patches which do a whole variety of different things. And probably one of the most important things is that you need to drink plenty of water. How simple is this, guys? You put on a patch and you drink water, and you can change your life. We also use electrolytes just to make sure that the conductivity, this is essentially electricity. So the better hydrated you are, the faster the impulses and the message will be transduced to your entire body, and the better efficacy you will have from the patches. So, I don't know if I mentioned anywhere, and I didn't think I did, so this is why I'm just going to go. It's a peptide that is produced, which is a copper peptide by the patch. And that is a peptide called GHKCU, and you don't have to remember that. It's just a copper peptide. And that copper peptide is something that we have lots of when we are young and lose as we age. So by giving us that peptide back, by stimulating the production of that peptide, a whole lot of things start to happen. You saw that whole list of things that changed with X39, one of which is the stimulation of dormant stem cells. So the difference that you will notice are often by the other things being affected, positively. and your body eventually gets to the point where it stimulates dormant stem cells. So X39 is really sophisticated and yet incredibly simple. The testimonies are life-changing and emotional. They really are. And the best thing about X39 is that it absolutely works.
Thanks, Alex. So at this point, we are going to stop sharing so that we can share some testimonies, because we know that there are people on the call who have other testimonies to share other than Alex and myself. So I'm going to open it up to anybody who would like to share. I often pick on people, but I know, Jacqueline, we don't normally see you on. Would you like to share? You turned your camera on, so I'm sure you're going to.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been using the patches for just over a year now. And the first thing I noticed was after 2 weeks, my sleep, I've been a light sleeper for decades. And I suddenly noticed I had a depth, a quality to my sleep that, yeah, I hadn't had for just such a long time. As I say, decades. So that was really significant. I had some other sort of small stress-related tummy pains. They went. A little bit of dry eyes, that sorted itself out. But for me, what's really, really fabulous is I'm electrosensitive. So I was on my way to the airport and I was really anxious about it, thinking about all the EMF there, the electro pollution. And then I thought, oh, I think I haven't tried the X49. I'll have a go. I'll have a go with that. I'd just been using the X39 up to then. And so the X49, I had it ready because I was thinking for bone density, heart health, muscle, stamina, that's all good. But I hadn't actually started using it. And I was on a train. And trains have got Wi-Fi these days. I was already feeling something. Anyway, I put the patch on just below my tummy button, and immediately it's like the tension just fell away. The anxiety, that EMF stress, it just fell away. And yeah, and so I went through the airport, both directions, really easily. And that was just amazing. I didn't know at that point about the sort of research on the Faraday cage effect. And interestingly, somebody else I know had the same or similar, she's also EMF sensitive, but she had that positive benefit with X39. So we were kind of laughing about it that she had it with X39, I had it with X49, but they're both a form of copper peptide and obviously are helping in some way to make the Faraday cage effect. So yeah, that was fabulous.
Thanks so much for sharing, because I mean, that's huge.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
sensitivity.
Absolutely. I've got so much more resilience now to EMFs. Yeah, it's great.
That's wonderful. And that's a new testimony for us, because nobody's given us one about that. So I'm so pleased that you're on the call tonight.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, that's me. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Who else would like to share?
Kevin here.
Yes,
My partner Sarah, she's a practitioner, and I know Jacqueline quite well. And it's coincidence, isn't it, that my partner had a new client come in last week who'd suffered throughout his life several skeletal injuries, and he was on these X39 patches, and we'd heard about them before. And then I met Jackie over the weekend, and we were discussing a fellow friend of ours, and we got discussing the patches again. So coincidence, one on Friday and one on Sunday. So yeah, that's why I'm here tonight. And yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to benefit from this anyway. If Jackie says it helps us sleep, well, it's got to be good.
But also, Kev, when you just even held the patch in your hand, so you're very sensitive, very energy sensitive, and you just held the patch in your hand and felt something, didn't you?
I did indeed. And what I didn't realize was you had to take them off. So I've been feeling quite nauseous, actually.
Detox.
Taking them off. Okay, well, you've learned something tonight already.
Drinking gallons of water. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. But taking them off and not letting attenuation happen is very important. So thanks for sharing. Right, who else? Well, we were talking about one patch wonders and the fact that some of us weren't, but we know Amanda was a one patch wonder. Would you like to share your story, Amanda? Lots of people here haven't heard it.
Thanks, Mel. Yes, I heard about LifeWave and I thought it was a lot of nonsense. And then I got COVID about a year ago and I was very sick. And after 4 weeks, I was working for myself and my own business. And after 4 weeks, I was still in bed. I could not get out of bed. I could not get in front of my computer. And I was really, really sick and nothing helped. And you know, if you have to work for yourself, you can't earn an income. It's not a good place to be. And after 4 weeks, I said to my husband, just come and walk with me because I was getting crazy, you know, just not getting out of the house and just being in the bed the whole time. And we walked about 150 meters and my heart wanted to jump out of my chest. And that was very scary to me to think, you know, I can't even walk 150 meters. And then my sister sent me some patches. And I put the patch in the back of my neck, not believing that it's really going to do anything, even though I heard about great testimonies. But I put it in the back of my neck. I immediately felt like a thick head. I couldn't think. And I fell asleep about half an hour later. And when I woke up 2 hours later, there was nothing wrong with me. Nothing. But I didn't believe it because, I mean, that didn't make sense. I just thought I had a good sleep. And 2 days later, I thought, let me go and check maybe because I kept on feeling good. And I thought, let me just check. And I went walking on the farm where we're living. It's very mountainous. I went walking with my dog and I walked 1.5 kilos without a problem. And 4 days later, when I looked at my watch, I'd already walked 9,000 steps. And I couldn't believe it. It just changed everything. And since then, I've patched everybody, had great results. But then I didn't keep on getting one patch wonder results. But by then I'd heard so many stories that I just kept on patching because I understood that something was happening inside, even though I wasn't seeing anything on the outside. But then after a few months, I started sleeping great. That's a big thing. And started sleeping, but my skin appearance improved dramatically. And my heels are suddenly soft. I can't believe it, for the first time in my life for soft heels. And then a few weeks ago, I went for blood tests, and this is now about 11 months after I started. And my kidney functions have improved. I didn't even know there was anything to improve. And that was just amazing to know that, you know, the longer you keep on using it, more things happen in your body that you don't even know about. And then you see these other results. So it's very exciting. Thank you, Mo.
Thanks, Amanda. And while we're talking about that, because I mean, we're giving health testimonies, but business are always good too. Maybe you just want to share a little about what the business has done for you.
It's changed my life completely. It's given me a new life. I've got hope. I'm ticking off things off my dream board that I made 8 years ago. I'm ticking off now. And I'm just having an amazing, amazing life. And I love what I'm doing. I can't sell. I'm not a good seller, but I can change people's lives. I love making a difference. I love having an impact on people. And being rewarded for doing that is just the best, because that's what drives me, is making a difference in people's lives. And now my life is changing while I have this privilege of changing other people's lives in the process. I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thank you. Right,
Jonathan,
you turned your camera on. Did you want to share?
Yeah, I'll give a very brief one.
Perfect. We'll move on. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. So I had a back injury. It was about 2.5 years ago now. I had to wrestle with a calf on the farm, threw out my lower back. The next day, I was in excruciating pain from that moment. The next day, when I woke up, I couldn't actually get myself dressed. My wife had to help me put my trousers on and my socks. Obviously, we went to the doctor, x-rays, whatever. And the muscles around my sciatic nerve were inflamed. The doctor said, rest and stretch. And so I did. And about 3 weeks later, I was still in a lot of pain, but like I could function again, and I just bit through the pain. And I continued resting and continued stretching, and that pain never got better. In fact, it kept on getting worse because I'm quite an active person. I pick up things. I have a daughter. I pick her up and throw her around, and like all of those things would then aggravate my back. And now it's sore again for a couple of weeks, like intensely sore. But that pain never went away. It was there all day, every day for 2 years. Found out about these patches, put them on, 2 months later, well, the first day I put it on, I felt like I drank like 4 cups of coffee in like one go. I had like a crazy amount of energy. I felt like, I don't know, like a stallion, like a beast. I had loads of energy. And after that, I didn't really feel anything. But 2 months later, I woke up, and for the first time in 2 years, I woke up with no pain. Because like that morning routine for me, I woke up every day in excruciating pain, and getting out of bed was the most difficult part of my day because it was very painful to stand up. But 2 months later, pain gone. Couple tweaks since then. But like now, we're sitting at about 7 months later, and yeah, absolutely no pain. My back is good. I'm doing deadlifts in the gym. It's fantastic. Once I got mine, I was like, okay, pops, put it on my dad. My dad is 70 years old. He's got heart failure. He's got a pacemaker put in, and he's got it all, man. Hypertension. He's got diabetes. He's got gout and arthritis. He's got it all, right? And put the patch on him. He was battling to walk from the house to the car. That was a long walk for him, and he had a walker. He now no longer uses his walker because 2.5 months after these patches, my mom phoned me, and my mom told me, you won't believe it, but I just went to town with your dad and he walked for about 45 minutes. And I was like, what? You're lying, mom? Like, absolutely insane. I couldn't believe it. Went to go visit my dad so I could like see it for myself, isn't it? And like, yeah, he was brighter, more enthusiastic, more cognitive, like. And now they've been patched for about 6 months. I spoke to my dad just 2 days ago. He told me he's dropped a whole bunch of his pain medication. And like that for me, because it would irk me that I'd see my dad like popping all these pills, and I like, now knowing that he's off of them, like, or busy coming off of them, it's just, yeah, it's fantastic. It's changing both of my parents' life. My mom has results as well, and yeah, it's changed their life completely. It changed mine because I'm completely pain free. I love to be active and go about my day, and yeah, I'm so excited now to share it. I've got more stories, of more people that I've shared it with, and it's fantastic to see the people's quality of life change and my quality of life change. And I'm so grateful to be here and a part of this. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. I'm so pleased you shared. And I mean, it's such a big win for your dad because
Yeah.
I'm sure very soon, if it's 6 months in, another 6 months, he'll be on all of those medications, and I'm sure a whole lot of others too. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So let's go back to the presentation. And thanks to everybody who shared.
Okay, this is at info.com is where you can find a whole bunch of stuff. It's the website. There are videos, there are patents, there are clinical trials, there are interviews with a variety of people. You can take as much as you wish to from this website if you're that kind of person. It's credible. There's a lot of information on there. Take a picture of this and go and take a look if you need to.
Thanks so much, Alex. I'm going to go into the business side of the presentation. So when I joined LifeWave, I didn't even look at the business side. I was shown a YouTube of David Schmidt, who's, as you heard, is our CEO and inventor, talking to healthcare professionals about X39. And I've been in complementary therapy for the last 30 years. Well, this year it's 30 years. And so it all made sense to me. So I thought, okay, well, we're going to start patching and we're going to see where we go. So at the beginning of 2023, when I started seeing results, I thought, I'm going to build a business. I thought, like Alex, I better have a look at this business, because before I tell people, because I'd had a bad experience with a company before, let me make sure that this company is stable. And at that stage, we were a 19-year-old company. We turned 20 last year. So this is our 21st birthday, but 20 was the big one for LifeWave last year. So they really celebrated turning 20 by opening a new center and a welcome center in Utah. All sorts of things happened last year. Anyway, we were 19 years old then. We're turning 21 this year. We now open in over 80 countries. But the exciting thing about LifeWave is we're not a Me Too product, because as Alex said, we patented. We've got another 15 years left on the patent for X39. So although other people are now coming out with patches, they can't copy what we have. And their patches often work very, very differently. And I know a lot of the doctors in LifeWave have tried other companies' patches and they're just not the same, and they don't have the same results on blood tests, etc. So we're not a Me Too product. Our revenue has increased dramatically, and it's all because of X39, because the company's been around for 20 years. We have supplementary patches. Those who were on before we started, Alex was talking about doing a presentation this morning in person and patching somebody with IceWave for pain and having a fabulous result. IceWave is one of our other patches. We have Eon for inflammation, we have patches for sleep, we have other patches. But X39 is now our core product, and you heard Jacqueline talking about X49. So there are others. But in 2021, we did a $20 million turnover. Last year, we did over 600 million. I mean, that's a huge jump very, very quickly. And this year, we are on track to do over $1 billion. We're only in March, and they're saying we're going to do over $1 billion. We still ranked as the #1 momentum company on businessforhome.org. And when I say we still ranked, we were there last year, and we are still there. So it's quite incredible because it's a site that lists many multi-level marketing companies. And the owner of that website doesn't usually speak at anything except his own events. But at the event that I was in Vegas in January, which was a team event for LifeWave, he was there speaking about LifeWave and why it's a company that he takes incredibly seriously. So last year, we won the award for the #1 growth company in network marketing at the 2024 Global Bravo Awards. And this month, we will be getting more awards at the 2025 event. So I've heard by the grapevine that we are going to be getting the #1 growth company award again. So at this point of the presentation, we always ask, what is the most important thing in your life? Like, why are you on this presentation this evening? Now, some of you are brand partners, so you're really passionate about the product. When you have stories like Jonathan has to share, or Jacqueline, you know why you're here. But for those of you who knew, your friends obviously told you something about the product, and you're thinking, well, I'm here because perhaps I want more time with my family. I don't want to work so hard. I don't want to work from, when I get up in the morning until I go to bed at night, or, 8 to 5, and I never get time off. You want that time freedom. Perhaps you're looking for security, whether it's security in your health or financial security. Maybe you want to travel more. LifeWave has incredible travel incentives, and just today, they announced the qualifiers for the incentive that was been running since the end of last year. And we get to go on another LifeWave trip, which is amazing. And there are 3 regions, there are 3 different trips, but there are often travel opportunities in LifeWave. Or you're just looking for better health. When I joined, it was all about better health. I know that when Amanda put that patch on, she was hoping it was going to work with her COVID. She didn't quite believe it because she thought we were all crazy. She's told us before, but once you see the results, you start thinking differently very quickly. Or you're looking for less debt. So many people, especially in South Africa after COVID, have debt, but around the world. And as Amanda said, it's completely life-changing. The less debt has changed my life in more ways than I can imagine. And when I joined, I didn't know how we would ever get out of the debt that we had from COVID, but we're completely debt-free. And I've only been in the company since December 2022, and I did nothing until February the following year. So so if we look at it now, it's only 2 years that I've actually actively worked the business. So how do we get compensated in LifeWave? So there's several ways of getting compensated. So the first one is we can sign up customers or preferred customers. Preferred customers get wholesale price. Retail customers obviously are paying retail, which is more, but who wants to pay more if you can get the product cheaper? And if the person who invited you onto the call today, you go back to them and you say, I never want to tell another person, I just want to buy the product. I don't want to be involved in this binary thing at all. You can sign up as a preferred customer. You can get a monthly order and you will get the same price as we get. But the person who invited you will get a commission every month as your order goes off. Or you can sign up as a brand partner. That means you'll have a place on the binary. You can see the diagram there of the binary. So you'll have a place on the binary. You'll start building LifeWave with a team if you choose to build it, or you can just sit there. So I came in on the binary thinking, well, I'm just going to buy a product as and when I want to, but I'm going to get it at wholesale because I've come in as a brand partner. The person who introduced me, so Candice Donadell, she was going to get a commission for bringing me in, but I wasn't going to do anything. I even told her, don't expect me to build at all. And then I started building, and everything changed. So how do we build? When we come in and we earn off this compensation plan because we've decided to build, we build 2 legs. So person has 2 legs, LifeWave has 2 legs. But what happens is that we build as a team. So when you come in, if you bring in 4 friends, you become what is known as the manager, which means you open up the whole compensation plan. Now, the leg that you are placed on, So as we put people, they drop to the bottom of the leg. So if I've been building for 2 years and I put somebody on my left leg, they're going to go right to the bottom of my left leg. It doesn't matter how many people there are in between. And all of those people are only building 2 legs. So one leg, they're going to start themselves. And one leg is going to be impacted by the people who've come in before them or their sponsor. And so they are going to get overflow. It's a bit like those champagne fountain things that they used to have at weddings, pour the champagne in at the top and it used to overflow into the glasses that were stacked below. The new glasses don't work like that, but those round ones do. So that's how it works. Once you have those people underneath you, everything that they do, from them signing up customers, bringing in brand partners, whatever volume they bring, it adds up to your volume. And when you have 660 volume on your greater leg, 330 on your lesser leg, you get what's known as a cycle bonus, and a cycle bonus is $50. Now, that's called team commission because you're not doing that by yourself. And I know Amanda, we'll get her to tell you later, she thought when she came in, this was going to take forever to get volume. And then she realized that very quickly in the first couple of weeks, she had actually had a lot of volume. And she wasn't quite sure how she got it. So she realized that there were people underneath her that she didn't know at all. Anyway, that team commission for the top earners in the company is capped at $25,000 a week. And I know many people who max that out every single week. Now, of course, we're not guaranteeing any income. It's all depending on how hard you work and how many people you introduce to LifeWave, but that is how the binary works. Now, there's also something called a matching bonus. Now, to get a matching bonus, you need to be a manager, which means you need to have 4 active people underneath you who've come in on core or above, and we'll talk about that now. Or they have a certain amount of volume and they are active. That means they're buying product every month. And then you can start getting matching bonuses. Now, what does a matching bonus mean? It means that every time somebody that you've introduced on your first line, that means personally introduced, every time they get a cycle, you are going to get 25% of it, but not of their money. The company is rewarding you for helping them. So it's over and above what they get. They still get their $50. But you get 25%, which is $12.50. On your second line, you get 20%, so $10, and on your third line, 20%, which is $10. Now, I'm going over this very quickly because like Alex gave you the website, I'm going to give you a website at the end where you can go and watch a whole hour's presentation on the compensation plan if you need to analyze it in every detail before you join. And some people do. I didn't even know it existed, but I can tell you that it is incredibly generous. My child is on a plane on his way to the States right at the moment. And if it wasn't for LifeWave, I couldn't have paid placement fees, for medical insurance, all of those sorts of things, air tickets, and everything that it takes to get somebody to go to their first job on a J1 visa. So South Africans go on something called the J1 visa. Obviously, a lot of costs associated. And if it wasn't for LifeWave, he wouldn't be there. So all kinds of things in my life have changed because of this amazing compensation plan. So how do you come into LifeWave? I always say you come in where you fit in. So I came in on core because I was never going to build this business. I just wanted a product for my husband and I so that we could get patching. And I knew that David Schmidt said you've got to give it at least 3 months. So I knew I was going to have to buy more. But the amazing thing about LifeWave is you can upgrade at any time to the next pack. You just pay the difference and you get the difference in products. So core gives you 3 sleeves of X39. And it costs you $295 plus the tax for your country and the delivery for your country. And I'm saying that because we're not just South Africans on this call, and every country has a different tax. We all pay in dollars, but it obviously goes off your bank account in the currency of the country that you are in. Now, if you came in on advanced, that is going to cost you $535, but you're going to get 6 sleeves of X39. On either of those packs, you can replace a sleeve of X39 with 2 sleeves of the supplementary patches, or 1 X39 for 1 X49, so you can custom make your pack. So already on advanced, you're getting a nice discount because you're getting 1 sleeve for $35. So that's a great way to get started. And if you have a bigger family, that's what you're going to use. Then, of course, there's the premium pack. It's for the serious entrepreneur. It's $1,750. So the price of X39 drops to $87.50 a sleeve. Get 20 sleeves, and it keeps you active for 3 months. Because remember, I said you have to have active people underneath you to be at a rank. And active means that they have purchased product for the month. And we don't work from the beginning of the month to the end. We work from when you sign up. So if you sign up on the 15th of the month, it's on the 15th of the next month that you will need to get product again. So if you're on premium, it covers you for 3 months. on anything else you are going to need to purchase product to stay active and to collect that volume underneath you, even if you're not building a business yet. So we use 1 sleeve of patches. If you're not a manager, is what you need to stay active. So you need to have 55 volume a month. They say 1 sleeve will give you 77 volume, but you need 55 to be active. And once you're a manager, you need 110 volume a month to stay active. So if you've got two sleeves a month, it would be 154. So I usually use 3 sleeves of patches a month, or 3 X39, because my son, my husband, and I all patch, although I've now given my son his own account so I can have his patches delivered to him in the States. But I have sent him off with at least 3 months supply until I know exactly where they can be delivered, because we all patch every day because we know they work. So it's not a company where you have to buy tons of product to stay active. And I know that when I packed up my late in-laws' house after they passed away, or my mother-in-law passed away, which was the last one to pass away, there were boxes in the garage of furniture polish from a multi-level marketing company that they must have been in more than 30 years before, because none of their children ever remembered them doing it. And they were just there. They'd had to buy more and more and more product to stay active. LifeWave is not like that. The product you're buying, even if you're a single person, is the product that you are needing to use yourself. And if you're sticking patches on anybody else, you're probably going to need more than what is recommended to purchase. So like Alex said, this is at info.com is where you'll get all the information on the product. This is at team.com is where you're going to get all the information on the business. So this is like your business builder site. So this is a team is where you will find the section on compensation plans, and you can go and watch Danny McDaniel give you an hours-long presentation where he explains in every detail where all the commission comes from. So if you need to know that before you join, that's where you find it. It's where you find all the onboarding information. How do you sign people up? We build 2 legs. How do you move from one leg to the other? It's all there for you. So when you're in LifeWave, you don't have to go all the time to somebody else and say, well, how do I do it? Because it's all there. We also have an app called School, spelled SKOOL. And the app is only for brand partners in our team. So when I say our team, it's a team that's under This Is It, which is led by Steve and Gina Merritt. So you go, you install that app, you put in your information, and then you're approved to join, because then they will check that you're part of the team. You're approved to join on that app. And there's lots of information there. And then there are also podcasts. If you go to This Is a Team, you'll see the link for the podcasts, and podcasts are put out every week, again by the team. So you get talks from all sorts of leaders in the team, and there is so much information for you to get from there. So you can go as fast or as slow as you like getting the information, but there is lots of it. So the time is now to make your move. Are you serious about your dream? Whether your dream is for better health or more wealth or whatever it might be, this is where you go, the time is now to decide, what is it that I want to do? There is hope for your future. Whether it's because, like Jonathan, you've got such a sore back that you can't get out of bed and you can't play with your daughter properly, or me, I couldn't do what I wanted to because my shoulder, I always pretended everything was fine, but I was at the chiro at least twice a month. I took lots of anti-inflammatories. I did all sorts of things. Alex put on a good cover. We all do that, but there is hope for you to be better. And of course, there's hope to change your financial situation as well. It's all about just getting started with X39. So thank you, everybody, for being with us this evening. Is there anybody else who would like to add anything about the business? Like to share? No? Okay. I'm going to stop recording right now. Thanks, Alex, for presenting with me this evening.